Oh, yeah. We're back in the saddle, baby. What's up, everybody joining us live on Twitch? And also, hello to any future listeners who are listening to this on a podcast. This is I Love Improv with Trent Dozier. I am the titular Trent Dozier. Happy to be back after a month off. Ready to get back in the swing of the improv things. And we have a great guest for you tonight. But first, we got to take care of the pleasantries, the business, if you will. I Love Improv with Trent Dozier is, of course, a part of the Trident Network. If you're tuned in live right now, you're watching on twitch.tv/the Trident Network. This is the Trident Network's Twitch channel. There are tons of other shows that stream on the Trident Network other than just this show. And if you subscribe by hitting this purple button somewhere down here, if you subscribe to the Trident Network Twitch, you can be alerted when all the other Trident Network shows go live, and that's pretty cool. The Trident Network, of course, is a three-pronged provider of entertainment that includes live shows such as this, podcasts such as this, and pre-recorded shows such as this. This is the perfect show! Yeah! Okay, if you're joining us live right now and you're in the chat, say what's up to yourself, and also say what's up, as always, to the technical producer of the show, the leader of the Trident Network, my close personal friend, Val Agnew. What's up, Val?
What's up, Mr. Mayor?
Yeah, I'm the mayor of Improv. I'll be running for re-election again. I hope everybody votes for me. I would love that. Val, how you doing? Haven't seen you in a month. How was your Halloween?
It was great. I dressed as the Parent Trap with my podcast co-host, Allie.
We love Allie.
Yes.
We love D-commentaries. Everybody check out D-commentaries. You know what? This is a great reminder. The ad at the beginning of this podcast is going to be the D-commentaries ad. Perfect.
Aw, thanks, buddy.
Actually, I love
D-commentaries. Your show, this show right here, was the ad on D-commentaries episode that came out yesterday.
I actually did hear because I listened, and the episode started with me, and I was like, wait, what's up? But then I figured it out.
We love cross-promotion here at the Trident Network.
That's what the Trident Network's main goal is, to cross-promote the shows. Yep. And then if viewership rises, great. But the main goal is cross-promotion.
That's right.
There's a bunch of cool stuff coming up at the Trident Network. Actually, on Monday, is it every Monday, Val? Stupid Game, Stupid Prizes?
No, it is this coming Monday. The following Monday is the Witching Hour.
Oh, yes, of course.
Yeah.
Well, Stupid Games, Stupid Prizes will be streaming this Monday on Twitch, and The Witching Hour will be streaming next Monday on Twitch. But both of those are great shows. Of course, if you're a subscriber, like I just talked about, you'll be able to see when those shows are going live every single time. You'll be able to see when this show's going live. So you should check out Stupid Games, Stupid Prizes on Monday. It's a great show. Always fun. Also, Val, debuting on Thursday, November 17th, is a new Twitch show called Pilot Season, created by the Trident Network's own Ryan Burkett, someone who I think is very funny. I love Ryan. Val, why don't you tell us a little more about Pilot Season, something that I think a lot of our listeners and viewers might be interested in?
Yes, Pilot Season is going to be real fun. It is basically, there's going to be 3 improvisers and 3 writers in every episode, and they'll rotate, so there will be different people in each episode. And in each and every episode, an entire sitcom pilot will be conceptualized via improv and quick writing and a lot of creative direction. So it's going to be a fun, wacky time, and who knows, maybe we'll actually make some of these pilots into something real afterwards. You never know.
Wow. Oh, that's a fun little tease at the end there. So tune in November 17th. That's when the premiere of Pilot Season happens. Also, a huge change in my life. You might notice that I have no beard, only a mustache. That's because I was Wario for Halloween. Not Mario, I was Wario. But that's a tale for another day. We're moving on to some improv, baby. That's why we're here. Because not only do I love improv, not only does Val love improv, not only do all of you listening or watching love improv, but this week's guest also loves improv. Val, should we bring her on? Is it
Let's
time?
do it. Yeah.
This week's guest is someone who is like can best be described as like a true joy, a true like light of joy. Anytime you're in their orbit, you are bound to be having your spirits lifted. So everybody be ready to have your spirits lifted right now. If you're watching live in the chat, please say what's up to this week's guest, Taylor Overstreet.
That is
Hello,
so
Taylor.
nice.
Well, you know.
Oh, we haven't even gotten to the compliments yet. That is so nice.
I know. I think it's true, which is why I said it. I don't like to lie on this show. I only like to tell the truth about my
I
friends.
respect it.
And I gotta say, Taylor, that's how I feel about you. Anytime I'm around you, I'm just like, okay, good. Some positivity in the world.
I
from-
feel the same
from my
about
friends.
you.
Oh, well, thank you.
I really do. Like,
Honestly, that's probably why we get along so well.
I think so. I think so.
Yes, friendship.
And I do love improv. And when I was promoting this show, I specifically said, I wondered, should I say this? This is the first show I will be doing in 2.5 years. But that's actually a lie. I did do a few Zoom shows in 2020 and maybe one in 2021 when my son was like 3 months old. But I'm back, baby.
Yeah. What is this show if not Zoom improv? You know?
I know, you know?
So the
I'm
way I
very
look at it,
comfortable on Zoom.
the way I look at it is you haven't been doing improv for 2.5 years. You've been training for this show for 2.5 years.
Amen.
So it's perfect.
Yes. You said
all right.
it.
Well, Taylor and I are going to do some improv for all of you tuning in, which I'm very excited to do. But of course, in order for Taylor and myself to do a scene, first we will need a suggestion. Now, all suggestions are great suggestions. However, at I Love Improv with Trent Dozier, we like to get a specific style of suggestion. So if you were going to make the suggestion of like a porcupine, instead of saying porcupine, we're looking for something more along the lines of Trent and Taylor are porcupine farmers, and they're also twins. And Taylor has a bad leg, and they're fighting for control of their family porcupine farm. Whatever, something like that. Something thick.
Let's
with
do that.
some meat on the bone. No, that one's burned. You guys
Okay.
can't use that one. Although that would have been a great scene.
Would have been a great scene. All right.
Tough to see it go. Now, before you start throwing out your suggestions, because it's such a robust suggestion and we'll be playing these characters for some time, something that I have found helpful is that if you know Taylor or myself, you might have a better idea of like what type of scene or characters you want to see us do. So if you know both of us already, please feel free to throw your suggestion in the chat already. But if you have never seen Taylor improvise, I am about to tell Taylor and everyone listening or watching what I love about Taylor as an improviser, and that might help inform you what type of scene you would like to see or what type of character you would like to see Taylor play. But either way, she's about to get complimented right now. So Taylor, are you ready to receive?
I'm ready as I'll ever be.
Okay. I am a strong believer that I feel like people can like play characters and stuff on stage and make it work, but like the core person who you are off stage is who you are on stage as well. And I feel like that's really true with you. Like I said, in my personal life, whenever I'm around you, Taylor, I feel like good and I feel like positive vibes from you, not just towards me, but like towards the world. And like you're someone who's like picking everybody up. And I feel watching you do improv, I feel the exact same way. I have never talked to anybody who's been on a team with you who's been like, well, actually, the problem with this team is Taylor. She's a nightmare to deal with. Like, you're a wonderful teammate off stage. And then so clearly on stage, you are also like a great grounding focal point for everybody to kind of orbit around. And like if stuff starts getting too crazy, we can always just be like, okay, well, let's check in on Taylor. She'll help everybody get back on track. On top of that, I think your style of humor is not one that was often seen within the Chicago improv community in the time that I was there, which to me, I feel like really made you stand out to me more than like a lot of other people, because a lot of people who were funny in the same type of way, but you are more like, even you're a mother now, and Taylor, spoiler alert, is pregnant. No one can see
Very
this now,
much
but
so. Yeah.
she's about to pop with her
Few
second.
weeks.
Um, and I feel like even before that, you just had like this kind of like motherly humor, which I can't even, man, it's so hard to explain, but it's like, it's not like, it's not like literal mom humor. Oh man, I feel like now I'm digging myself a hole. But the way you play is so just like genuine, and like you're not going for jokes. You know what I mean? You're like speaking to the truth. That
I
I
like
found it.
taking care of people.
Yes, I found it. You really speak to the truth of whatever is happening in any scene. The scene could be, aliens on Mars, and you'd still ground it in a true way that's also funny. And like you are not someone who's like, well, here's the funniest thing I could possibly say. You're someone who I think plays like me and reacts to stuff that's happening naturally, and you're letting the funny happen naturally. And like I feel like not enough people play like that or try to do that. And it's honestly something that I'll catch myself saying something that's more of like a one liner and it doesn't really get any reaction. And I'm like, why did I do that? I don't like doing that anyway. And like, I don't know. You just seem like someone to me who's so sure of themselves. And like you said, you like to take care of other people. And I think that's why people love to play with you and to watch you. And like, yeah, okay. The last thing I'll say is I don't think, maybe there was a mashup somewhere, but I can't remember you and I ever playing together.
No, we have
So,
not.
okay, that's what I thought.
We definitely have
I
not.
am like, I am so, on a personal note, so excited to get to do this with you, because like I said, you're someone who I have admired as an improviser for quite some time. And I feel like you and I are both of the people who like to take care of people on stage. So, maybe I'll sit back, let you take care of me a little bit. Who
I'm
knows?
pumped too.
But I'll be
Kit,
taking care of you as well.
I appreciate that. Well, thank you for all of that. That is, again, that
Of
is so kind.
course.
Can I say a few things that came to mind while you were talking?
Fine. If
Okay.
it's about me, fine, but
Well,
preferably
what
not.
one is and one isn't, and another one isn't. If I have time to say three things.
Say your
Um,
three things.
okay. So when you talked about playing, like, I play characters that are really similar to who I am in life.
Mm-hmm.
And I agree with that. And I think that's what I'm like, it comes naturally to me and it's what I'm comfortable doing.
Yeah.
But I like my second year of improv classes, this is when I still lived in Austin. I had a teacher who told me basically the same thing and
Uh-huh.
said, and like we had this class where he wanted me to the assignment was like everyone had to play something that was completely like opposite them. And he gave them like very specific prompts.
Mm-hmm.
And so he said, I want your inspiration to be a mom. And this is 10 years before I became a mom who would put out her cigarettes on her child. And I started crying. I started crying before I did the scene. I mean, I was just like, I don't know if I can do that. I mean, I really just, and then he was like, you don't have to actually do that, but that's, like use
Mm-hmm.
that as your energy.
Yeah.
And it was burned into my brain for the
Mm-hmm.
rest of that class and for many
Mm-hmm.
months after. And I still, it's
Yeah.
like, it's,
How could it
it
not
is
be?
fun to like think about, okay, how could I tap into that? That is, it's just like a character trait. I'm not going to actually do that, but,
Yeah.
um, like you can, like people, I don't know, people are layered and people mess up and it's
Mm-hmm.
it's fun to kind of think about like how you can stretch yourself. And I think why I'm so excited to play with you, I do think we both take care of people, but in like you are so when you mentioned like when things kind of get wacky and like I can be this grounding force,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I'm trying to think like how can I tap more into Wacky Town?
Mm-hmm.
And I love, I mean, I feel like when y'all were in town and Nia gave me the rundown of the show that the Dinks did that John could not do. She was like,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh, Trent played the tail of a dog. It was great." Like, of course, yes, that like that kind of supportive, like wacky. energy is something I always like want to kind of tap into. It's something that feels like outside of, not even outside my comfort zone, just like outside of what my whole deal, I guess.
Yeah.
And so I love, like, I'm super excited to play with you because I think again we yeah, like we want to take care of people and we would have a totally different like way of coming at that. So
Yeah.
I think it's going to be very fun.
Well, with the right suggestion, we might be tapping
Yes.
into Wacky Town here tonight.
I love it.
Um, Also, the rumors are true. Taylor is married to John Jones, who is, of course, on the most often discussed team on this podcast, Fair Dinkum, which is also my favorite team that I've ever been on. Okay,
Y'all are
moving
great.
on. Yes,
Legends.
I love Fair Dinkum as well. It was the highlight of my trip to get to do a set with them when I was in Chicago. Followed closely, a tie for second was seeing Taylor and Val in person. Okay, here we go. Val, how are we looking suggestion wise? Also, please feel free to throw out suggestions now. If you haven't already. How's everything looking over there, Val?
Well, a John P. Jones 13 has given us a suggestion.
What?
Okay, well, no one will know the two of us better than John P. Jones.
All right, here we go. He's also titled the scene Biscuit.
Biscuit, great.
Taylor hawks biscuits in the town square at a steep discount, and Trent, the baker, is taking issue with where these cheap biscuits are coming from.
Love that. Thank you, John. Thanks so much. Val, thank you as always. I Love Improv with Trent Dozier featuring Taylor Overstreet now presents Biscuit.
I'm
Hey,
not in the mood right now.
okay, I just wanted to grab a quick word with you, Janine, if that's okay.
It's
I
okay.
just need a quick word.
It's just because there's not a line, just because there's not a line does not mean my brain is not actively working on something or some things. I got a lot going on.
Okay, that's fine. I don't mean to interfere. I just need a quick moment of your time. I thought because there was no line right now, I thought now would be a good time just to grab a
Also,
word.
Janine, okay, are we officially on a first name basis?
Well, I don't know. I can call you Mrs. Marzipan. If
No.
that's what you want.
Okay, no, Robbie. Okay, Robbie. Okay, Robbie.
That's fine. You can
Great.
call me you. I
Or
prefer
are you Robert now? You've been Robbie since elementary school.
Okay,
Are you
don't
Robert
bring up.
now?
No, I'm still. I mean, I professionally, yes, I go by Robert. It's Robert's Bakery, but I'm still that kid at heart. I'm still Robbie at heart. I'm still the boy that you grew up with. Can I speak?
Go ahead.
Okay, I said that obviously I had an issue with you selling cheaper biscuits than what I sell in the bakery in the town square. But I think it's fine if you sell them. I just want to know, why is your little stand set up in front of Robert's Bakery? I don't know. That seems like a direct shot at me. That seems like a direct shot at me because now not only is that still happening, you selling the biscuits, but now you're set up in front of me, and so now my biscuits are not selling at all. I haven't sold a biscuit in 2 weeks, Janine, and I think it's because of you.
Well, what's interesting is what I love about it. Yeah, I'm right out front. I mean, I'm across the street, but I'm right out front. I get to look right into your storefront. I get to see it empty all day long. The line, though, I mean, yeah, they're looking at me. They could turn around at any time. They could see what's going on.
Okay, so you are admitting that this was an intentional choice to be set up directly across from me?
Yes, it was an intentional choice. I pay $9.99 a month for a business coach. And the first lesson I got $9.99.
I was gonna say $1,000
for
a
a
month is a
business
little
coach.
expensive.
I subscribed for a year. You pay in advance, you get the $9.99 rate. I'm not giving you her name. And her first piece of advice was, who's your competition? Well, that's a question. And then the advice that came after that was, well, how can you compete with this person? And I thought, well, I be right out front, literally compete.
So you're telling me that all this biscuit business is purely on advice from your business lady, and this has nothing to do with what happened at Winter Formal 20 years ago?
Well, if you want to know the truth,
I knew it!
It goes a little bit earlier than what happened at Winter Formal, about 18 months earlier.
What did I do 18 months earlier?
The first year, they decide to make the archery champion at middle school camp co-ed. You knew I was the archery champion for 3rd grade, 4th grade, 5th grade. You were the archery champion for 3rd grade, 4th grade, 5th grade. And then as soon as they decide to make it co-ed, oh, you start lobbying. Like, oh, vote for me, vote for me. You got me all in my head. You know I would have smoked you in 6th grade. You know I would have smoked you in 6th grade.
Okay, yes, all this is true. But to be fair, I was in 6th grade. I was an idiot. I did not understand that we had to shoot. It would still be determined by how well we shot. I thought there would be some voting process at the end where they would take the male winner and the female winner, and then people would have to vote on whose was better. I didn't understand. I was in 6th grade. My parents were getting a divorce. I was so confused all the time.
Wow.
I'm not trying to make excuses. I'm just telling you where my head was at the time. Please, Janine, if this is what that's all about.
So then, of course, that's why I would try to humiliate you at Winter Formal, and that would backfire as well.
I did not intend for that to backfire. It's not my fault that I got sick and didn't go to Winter Formal, so then you ended up dumping a bunch of chili on the principal. That wasn't my fault. I would have rather been covered at chili.
Half of it ended up on me because I couldn't lift the pot by myself.
Well, that sounds like a you problem. You would think with all those archery muscles in your archery arms that you would be a little stronger. But I guess in the end, it's true what they say: the pot of chili is heavier than the sword, or what
Yes, I have that crocheted above my desk. Yes,
I have that crocheted above my toilet.
Well, there you go. And yes, I do have a desk in my food truck.
Okay,
because I am a businesswoman. Oh no, don't do that. No, don't.
Okay,
You've been no. And you know what? If people like my biscuits better, they could. No one's bought a biscuit in 2 weeks. That's not on me. That's not on me.
It's purely a price thing.
That's not on me.
That's on you directly. Multiple people have walked into my shop and said, "Hey, Robbie, your biscuits are great, but you know what? The ones across the street I could get for 1/3 of the price and twice the size. That's ridiculous, but true. And you're trying to put me out of business because I was in 6th grade, didn't understand the rules of an archery thing."
You are selling biscuits. Last I checked, for $4 a pop.
Yes, correct. That's correct.
No, you can't do that.
That's what the general national price is right now. I don't set the trends. I follow them.
We are in a business of creating something that literally uses the cheapest ingredients money can buy. The cheapest ingredients money can buy. Okay, what are you using? Kerrygold butter?
What are you using?
Are you blowing all your money on Kerrygold butter?
I'm not saying how much my butter budget is not what it should be.
Don't that was the second piece of advice from a business coach. When I told her my business plan, she said, "Don't go Kerrygold." She said, "Don't." She crocheted that thing that's next to the chili quote. "Don't blow your butter budget."
Wait, are
she
these?
Said that's what every baker ends up doing. She said, "Don't blow your butter budget." And then we started. It was actually really fun because then we started kind of singing a little song. She was tapping her mug on and she said, "Don't blow your butter budget. Don't blow your butter budget." And it was. I mean, see, you're in it too.
It's a good tune.
It's a good tune.
I love music. I can't deny. Just curious. So everything that's crocheted here above your truck, then these are the tenets that your business lady gave you.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, then in that case, I'm just gonna
stop it.
No, I just need to.
Also, Robbie D has nothing to do with you. The one about Robbie D.
Who's Robbie D?
Nobody.
Who's Robbie D?
Just because your name is Robert DeLuise does not mean to have anything to do with you.
I'm starting to think it's got a lot to do with me.
Okay, well, take a peek.
Robbie D has a shitty little mustache, and he's a shitty. That was a business. That's not. I haven't even
mean,
had the mustache that long.
I sent her a picture of you, and that was the inspiration. That's all it was.
You
And it
sent her a
wasn't supposed to
picture of
be
me.
about. Well, it was just. I just said this is just to kind of give you a visual, and I said I don't want to make it personal, and that was really all she had to go on because I hadn't told her about our whole past. And
Okay,
can I be honest?
please.
And this is a nice thing I'm about to say, and I don't want you to ruin it with a quip.
No quips. I'll put my quips in my quipper. That's a quip quiver.
A quip quiver. It's you look really nice with a mustache. You were the first kid to go through puberty. You had facial hair before anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
You had the mustache, and I know you got teased for it. I thought it was cute then, and it's a nice look. That's all.
Thank you. I actually I've never told anybody this, but because of my early puberty, that led
Early
to
onset puberty. You said you had EOP, and nobody believed you. And my brother had it. I know.
Yeah.
It's hard.
That was kind of what that was like the main contributing factor to my parents' divorce. Not the fact that I was pubescing early, but it was more the fact that my father has a recessive early onset puberty gene. But we did find out that our neighbor doesn't. So that's how pretty much me hitting puberty early alerted my father to the fact that he wasn't my real daddy. So that was kind of a. So I haven't heard it was nice to hear something nice about my facial hair. I haven't. It's brought me a lot of strife over the years, and I thank you for that. And if I could return the favor, I would just like to say I apologize again for all the archery stuff and then the subsequent chili situation. Maybe I could I take you out for dinner or something, just like a nice dinner, just to make up for it. And if you want, we can get chili, and you can throw the chili at me if that'll make you feel better.
I'm in.
Oh, that was fast. That was fast response. Are you talking about the dinner thing or the chili as well?
The second part too. But yeah, if that's definitely part of it, if that's on the table, then I'm on the table. I'm at the table.
Okay, so I'm gonna.
And I'm sorry, I always really liked your dad. Your real dad, your fake dad, your real fake real dad that you grew up with.
No. I consider him my
your
father
dad
still, absolutely. Yeah, he raised me. I'm obviously still in contact with him, and it was he never showed any distaste towards me. So credit to him. But he had to remove himself from the situation. Understandable, and it's it shaped me,
Mm-hmm.
It's why I do what I do. It's probably why I have such a short fuse, because my mom was the one who always had the bad temper, and because of where school was located, I stayed with her most of the time. And now I got this short temper, and I'm yelling at you about biscuits, and I shouldn't be, because it's just biscuits. It's just biscuit.
Do you want to try? Why don't you try one?
Is that
I've
okay?
had plenty of yours. You've been in the town square for 11 years.
Is that okay if I try a biscuit?
Of course.
If you don't mind, I'll pay for it.
Take it. Thank you. No, on the house, on the truck.
If you insist, and I don't need any butter or honey or jelly or anything. That's what I hear. It's like it melts in your mouth.
Tastes just like the Pillsbury ones right out of the can, is what I hear, which is high praise.
Wow. Okay. Here we go. Oh my! What the? You're not using Kerrygold? What butter product are you even using? These biscuits are
Country Crock.
This is a Country Crock butter biscuit?
Yes, it's a Country Crock butter biscuit.
Oh my God. To be frank with you, I'm in debt right now, and it is mostly because of the butter.
Don't blow your butter budget.
I know, and I'm seeing now that okay, this is the best biscuit I've ever had, and this is arguably the best piece of food I've had in my mouth ever. And I I don't know. My mind's racing. I got a million thoughts going right now, but I think we should combine. I think we should combine. I think Robert's Bakery should fold into your traveling biscuit thing, and vice versa. The biscuit should be part of Robert's. I'll change the name of Robert's Bakery because this is going to be the top item. It's got to be. That's the offer.
Can we keep my name though?
We can absolutely keep your
Janini's
name.
Panini's JK. It's biscuits.
Yeah,
because that was the third piece of advice from my business coach was get silly with it, Janine. She said, "What's the silliest thing you've ever done?" I said, "I literally can't think of anything.
Mm-hmm.
I literally can't think of anything." And after "Don't blow your butter budget," she started saying Janini, and I was just Janini's Panini's JK. It's biscuits.
Wow.
It's got a ring to it. It has several rings to it because it's long-winded, and I get that. And that's why my sign was expensive, but it's working.
No, I've read well, I didn't read it. I saw it in a TikTok, but I saw on a TikTok that the longer your name is on your business, the more it'll stay with people because they have to keep reading it and they're like, this is the name of the whole business. So it's a good I will say absolutely we can keep it Janini's Panini's JK, it's biscuits, but then I think underneath we got to do like a little parentheses like and also full bakery other than biscuits if we're combining the two.
Okay.
And then also just to be completely upfront with you, if we do combine, you will also be inheriting some of the butter debt that I'm in.
Okay.
So that's just something to keep in mind. It's like, pretty debilitating for me right now, but I think if we got two of us going around and now we'll have two locations, one on wheels, one on land, then I think it should be good. If you want to say no, I understand.
You know what? Can I tell you something? My business coach's fourth piece of advice, it was, do you have anything that's still on your conscience? Because if you're going to be running a business, it's going to be sticking with you. And I do have something that's still on my conscience that I do feel like I should atone for.
Mm-hmm.
You were talking about your mother's temper that you inherited. When I had my paper route, when I was in second grade, I had your block, as you know. And there were a few mornings where I threw the paper and she threw it back at me. And I didn't like that, so I threw it back at her. And remember when the paper boy, she couldn't see, it was 4:00 in the morning, threw it back and hit her in the face and broke her glasses. That was me.
Oh my God.
And I know she had to have a surgery because of it. And I never owned up to it.
Janine?
And so maybe butter debt is as payback.
Well, I have to be honest with you, in terms of cheating on my father and being angry at me all the time, I wasn't the biggest fan of my mom.
Did she have it coming?
She absolutely had it coming.
Okay.
And I think this is going to be the beginning of a beautiful butter and biscuit-based business partnership. That's the scene. Oh my God.
The short circuit of how do we shake hands?
Yeah, for everyone listening on a podcast, the 5 seconds of silence was Taylor and I trying to figure out how to shake hands through the screen.
I probably should have done, if I did my other hand, put your hand up so this is only for people online. There it is.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, if you're listening to a podcast, run over here to the video replay so you can see the great handshaking.
Get to YouTube. I don't crochet or embroider, but there are so many things.
Yeah.
So many things I want to, so many little slogans I want to mark down on something.
Well, I mean, you gotta start Janine's Panini's JK, it's biscuits.
Yeah.
Based on title alone.
I've been saying in the chat that I'm going to make a t-shirt. It'll be in the merch store.
Yes.
I'll buy one.
I'll buy one
Paninis.
too. I'll buy an apron. We got to get aprons on the Trident merch store.
We
so
do
I can
have
buy
aprons.
Oh, perfect. I'll buy it. I'll buy a Janini's Panini's apron. Okay, Taylor, I have to say that lived up to my expectations for what I was hoping a scene with you and me would be. I and Val, you can jump in on this too, because like me, you have been here for every episode. I feel like a lot of times, probably 9 out of 10 episodes, we do like a conflict based start, and it never ends in the place that we ended. Which, yeah, Val's nodding. It never ends where I'm like, oh, these are like, they were maybe more caricatures at the start, but like these people live in a real world and they like found a common ground, and like I don't know, it just felt really really kind of like beautiful and poetic in a way that not a lot of, like, most of the scenes end like last week with Sean being a demon or whatever,
Or Rudy
and
beating
this,
the crap out of
yeah,
me.
or Rudy beating me up, or me and Emily demanding Val get us more drinks, or like, it's usually like crazier, and this was just like, it ended on such a nice, like, yeah, that's the scene, and these guys are friends now. And it just like, to me it was so satisfying to be in it, because it almost felt like I knew that I wanted to make the turn to friendship, and it felt like you
Yeah.
also wanted to make that turn. And so, just like I said, we've never played together, but I feel like I've watched you so much and you've seen me so much that we both
Mhm.
kind of knew like where we were going. And it just like, I don't know, Val, maybe you can speak a little more to it, but it just felt like really really nice to me, and I, in a perfect way, I loved it.
Yeah, this is one of the most lived in scenes that you've ever done on this show. Like it just
Hmm.
felt real that you two knew each other in the way
Yeah.
that you knew each other, like since childhood, which is like a very
Yeah.
different kind of relationship than, like adults that have become friends.
Yeah.
And like even the way you greeted each other, which was so funny, and like
Hmm.
everyone in the chat was like, that was the most amazing first exchange. And it was so funny. But yeah, the fact that you like found a way to kind of like come together and like work through the misunderstandings, and like you had all this backstory, but it didn't feel like you were just sort of, inventing or inserting random stuff
Hmm.
into the scene. It just felt very organic, and yeah, it was really cool, the journey that we went on with you through that scene.
Yeah. How'd
I
you
also feel
feel?
like I loved it too. It was very silly in the way that I wanted to be silly playing with you specifically.
Hmm.
And I think I feel like in classes and shows and coaching you get you get the note of like not being in conflict or not saying no a lot. Not
Yeah.
you, but the royal you, generally we.
Hmm.
And I think for people who've known each other for a really long time, meaning our characters, that can be super fun.
Hmm.
Like it was just more like informative of the relationship. Um, I gotta say though, I really, when we got that suggestion, when I heard the suggestion, the first thing in my mind was like, oh, she's selling canned biscuits. She's for sure selling canned biscuits, and that's how she said. Because I think that there was part of it that was like, where are they coming from, or something like
Yeah.
Yeah.
that. And then when we started talking about the price, I was like, oh, they're like popped right out of a can. Which
Mm.
those biscuits are good. I mean, they
Mm-hmm.
really are.
Those are
Mm-hmm.
some of the best biscuits in the world. I
Um,
agree.
but uh, but yeah, I loved it.
Yeah,
I loved the history.
Mm-hmm.
yes, it was really nice. Like, I one of the benefits of getting the suggestion the way we get the suggestion, or like the reason I like to, is like the time that we spent, that you and I, Taylor, spent discovering the shared history between these characters. If the suggestion was just biscuits, the first, all that time that we spent discovering our history would have been spent discovering, like, oh, well, I own the store and Taylor is a rival outside. Like, it's just like we can sweep all that away. And like, I would much rather be in a world where we're not discovering the, like, the who, what, where, when. Like, I don't want to
Hmm.
discover, like, I'm more interested in the interpersonal relationship, because that's the more interesting thing.
Yeah,
It doesn't matter if we're on Mars or
yeah,
underwater or in Nevada or at Val's house. Like, the thing that matters is the relationship between the two characters on screen or on stage or on your podcast or whatever. But um so it was so nice to like kind of like just discover those things with you too, because I had also felt like you were being a little less than reputable with the how you were coming by these biscuits, and then it coalesced way later in the scene for me. But when you were like, yeah, they're fresh out of the oven, just like the Pillsbury ones, I was like, oh, I bet these are literally just Pillsbury ones. And in that moment, when I tried it, it was very much of like, well, we're about to go one of two ways. I'm either going to be like, hey, I
Jack
know these are
Hughes.
Pillsbury.
Yes.
Yeah. But it's like, I don't know. I felt more like an idiot. Like the character felt more like a lovable idiot. So I was like, you know what? Let's go into business together.
Yeah.
And like, that's something for Robbie to discover later, that maybe
Yeah.
Janine is not forthright
Pulling a
with
fast
the
one.
biscuits. But like, yeah, for this moment, it felt like this feels more true to like
Yeah.
what's actually happening, is like a reconciliation is happening, not some
Yeah.
like accusatory thing.
Yeah, if the suggestion were just biscuits, there's like a 99% chance I would have played like a less problematic Paula Dean sort of character. Like I mean, I'm from Texas anyway. I would have had
Yeah.
a Southern accent. I probably would have been about 30 years older than I am. Yeah, so I liked the whoever you are, John P. Jones 13. That was a rich, buttery suggestion.
Yes, thank
I
you.
loved
Thank
it.
you, John P. Jones 13,
Perfect
whoever you may
stranger
be.
to the podcast.
Yeah. Something that you said, Taylor, that I wanted to circle back to was the quote unquote conflict of it all. And Val knows this, something that I feel like we haven't talked about as much recently on the show, but something in the early episodes that I feel like we hit a lot were the idea of like you learn the rules of improv so you can break the rules of improv. And
Yeah.
what you said, where like we are two experienced players, and like even though we've never played together, we've never done improv together in any capacity, like a rehearsal, an actual show, over Zoom, anything. But like, we're friends, and I know you've done a lot of improv. I've done a lot of improv, and we like, there's just that trust. So like, because we know the rules, like beginning improvisers absolutely should follow the rules because they don't have hundreds of hours of experience. But because like the three of us on this Zoom right now, we all have hours, hundreds of hours of experience, like doing improv. We know how to do it. We know like if we stray too far from the path, we can get back on. So like everything you were saying about that, I totally agree. And like once you're established, like take risks, take chances, because if stuff blows up, because you have all this experience, you can find a way back to the path, so to speak.
Yeah. I totally agree.
Yeah, that really that registered for me, and it felt like something we haven't talked about on the show for quite some time. But I do think it's like a very central theme. Were you going to say something, Val?
Oh, I was just going to kind of hop on and say like the other part of it is like, as long as you're agreeing with your scene partner, if you're disagreeing in the scene, it's okay, right? Like as long as you're both on the same page. I think a lot of times, and I was guilty of this early in improv too, like, you fight or like try to establish dominance because you're nervous, right? Because you're insecure on stage. And, that's different than having like a disagreement with your scene partner in the scene that you're both on the same page for. So it's like another kind of reason why that rule exists, to protect like newbies. But yeah, like you can kind of throw it by the wayside once you have enough confidence as well as experience that like, this isn't about you. This is about these random invented people that you're playing in this scene.
Yeah. And it's also like our characters, Janine and Robbie, agreed that they were arguing, and they agreed that they were arguing about the same thing. It wasn't like Janine was like, Robbie, you are trying to make bread with a basketball. And Robbie was like, not only am I not doing that, I'm not even trying to make bread, actually. You
don't know anything.
Yeah, exactly. And like, you're stupid. You don't know. You're actually a fish, and I'm Triton. And that's what this scene's been like. I feel like that's what those beginning things.
Mhm.
You're right, Val. It totally stems from a place of like nerves and like not wanting to get made look like a fool,
Right.
which comes
Which
back to a point that I make all the time is we are adults playing make believe
Yeah.
for no money. So it's like you already look stupid, so
Just
embrace it.
because we love it.
and what you
Exactly.
eventually learn is the stupider you look and the lower
Yeah.
status you are, the more the audience loves you.
Yeah, they're
Yes.
on your side.
Right.
Yes. No one has ever left an improv show and been like, man, the guy who committed to the dancing bit I didn't really like very much, but the guy I loved was the one who stood against the back wall with his hands in his pockets the whole time, looking like he was way too cool to be there. I'm so glad he was on stage
I can
looking like
relate
he
to
didn't want
that
to be there.
guy.
Yeah. Just like you got to embrace it.
Hmm.
I have to say something that is not exactly not directly related to anything we've talked about, but I can see in the screen. I see this beautiful "I Love Improv" logo, and I was just thinking like this. One of the things I love the most is well, I love a mono scene. We talked about that earlier. I love a mono
Hmm.
scene. I love to prov. That's like this is like my two favorite things about improv.
Mm,
And for me, like, there's a lot you can like digest afterward. Like, even like I'm thinking now, like, oh, I bet this is true about these two, and this is true. But even as you're going through it, I feel like what I love so much about these kind of slower, um, two-person scenes where you can kind of take your time is it's like it's not like thinking too much during the scene, but it's like all this stuff was coming to me. Like these two I imagined grew up like a block away from each other. I felt like we had
yes.
older siblings that were friends and we just sort of
Yes.
were always hanging out. We were kind of like rivals, but then in middle school where you like start to have friends where maybe if
Hmm.
like you've not really been friends, but then it's like, okay, we're kind of friendly. Like we had this pact to pull a prank on the principal. And I
Uh-huh.
was thinking like this was probably like Robbie's deal. Like everyone expected it from him. And he sort of like turned Janine to like, oh, do something crazy, Janine.
Uh-huh.
And there's just like all this fun stuff. And I was just like just now starting to think about like, I wonder what's happened in the last 20 years. Like what, they've been
Oh
living in the
yeah.
same town or maybe they came back or whatever. But I love it's also super fun when you're watching to fill in those gaps, like I do
Yes.
that when I'm watching shows like, oh, I bet this is true about these two. And yeah, it was just super fun to think about like all this history. I loved all this stuff about your parents, the early onset puberty. Like, I had early onset puberty. Like, it was hard for me. I mean, those details,
Yeah.
I love it.
You got me when you called it EOP too. I was not expecting that. That was very funny.
I
Yeah, I
I knew about it. I was aware.
I think I've talked about this on the show before too, but like it is Tuprov to me, and why I want this show to be Tuprov is twofold, which is like one, because it's easier to book one guest than like trying to get a team and then all doing it on Zoom or whatever. But two, I think Tuprov to me is like the most rewarding of all the types of improv you could do, basically, because a lot of people are like, well, it's so much more work, like you have to remember everything or whatever, and like it's just you and your teammate up there. And like, especially like when Cam and I play together, former guest of the show, Cam Hurt, when Cam and I play together, we play like we typically do a mono scene also, but we play like 15 characters in
Yeah.
one. And people are always like, how are you keeping track of all this stuff? But like, whether it's that or something like this where it's just you and me playing the same characters for 15 minutes, it's like, to me, it's so much easier to remember everything and to stay focused because I'm on stage the whole time. I
Hmm.
don't have time to be off stage thinking about like, how can I edit this scene, or what walk on could I do to enhance this, or whatever. Like when I'm doing two prop, it's just me and my partner. So I got to worry about three things. I have to worry about myself, I have to worry about them, and I have to worry about the audience. And that's so easy to do. In my opinion, that's so easy to do. And like, because I'm in it the whole time, I'm focused, and like it's so much easier to remember what I named you instead of like, oh man, what did Val name John in the scene that Val and John did together? Because like,
Hmm.
maybe I'm thinking like, okay, we're in the third beat and I haven't been on stage yet, so I should probably start the game here, or whatever in your in your Herald show at IO you're thinking. But I just think like, two prov is very intimidating to a lot of people just because it's just you and your teammate up there. And I I think it's the most rewarding, and I arguably think it's easier than being on a full team.
Yeah.
I've always wanted
It's
to do two prov, and I've never actually done it.
What? Is that real?
Hmm.
Val, you and Allie should do like a small prov or something at
I've
LSI.
told Allie at least a half dozen times that I would love to do two prov, and I just like leave it there because I don't want her to feel pressured, and she's never been
Mhm.
like, "Oh yeah, we should do it together."
I'll do
Hey,
two prov with you.
okay, I'd have big shoes to fill, but Val can coach me on technically producing this show. I can come and do Val's job. Val can just sit back and have some fun,
Uh-huh.
do some two prov.
That would be
It'd be
We
great.
both
perfect.
we would both be trying something new.
All right, deal.
You know? I've never
Well-
technically produced a show. Look at
It's-
this quality.
This is all Val. I've said
I
it
know
before.
it is.
I know you know, but I'll say it for everyone listening. I've said it before and I'll say it again. The visual and like audio quality of this show would, pardon my language, fucking suck if it was not for Val, because I'm so technically like incoherent. That's not even the right word. I can't even speak English, let alone know how to do this stuff. So like if this was just me up here, it would be an old recording of me and Taylor on a Zoom, probably cutting in and out.
Crackly.
Val's a genius. Show your appreciation for Val in the chat right now and
Please,
anytime
please
you see
do.
her.
Y'all, stop it. But thank you. I do it because this is super fun for me to get to see this and be a part of this and meet all your awesome pals.
And Val, you're one of those awesome pals. Taylor, you are also one of those awesome pals, as we know. Like I said, I had a blast. The scene was so fun, and like it was, sometimes you build up a moment of like finally getting to play with someone in your head, and then like it happens and you're like, ah shoot, I messed that up. That should have been better. And I felt so thoroughly satisfied with the scene that we did. So
I loved it.
good. I'm glad.
I loved it.
Thank you for doing the show. If you want to see more of Taylor after Thanksgiving, just go check out the local Chicago hospitals. She'll probably be in one of those giving birth.
I will be.
You can try and get a glimpse, see what's going on.
Oh, oh, brother. Actually, you did. You asked if, yeah, you asked if I had anything to plug, and I loved the honesty of like, I'm assuming no, but do you have anything to plug? Because yeah, that's a fair assumption.
You're
the one-
8 months pregnant.
No,
What
I
am
know it's true. Exactly. I'm not doing anything. Some people. I mean, some people are. They're out there. I think Unji Kim and our due dates are very similar to each other,
Yeah.
and she's out there doing stand up and nonstop. So more power to her. But when you asked if I had anything to plug, this is very timely for right now. But one thing I would like to plug is the Astros in the World Series, because I am a lifelong Astros fan. I know that's steeped in controversy even these last few years. But all I wanted to do during this show, I wanted to not yawn. Not
Mhm.
because I have a toddler or I'm 8 months pregnant, but I've been staying up way later than I typically would watching these games that
Yeah.
last night was infuriating. And I have not checked on the score tonight. I have not had any tabs open. My phone is not out.
Wow.
Wow.
And it's 9 p.m. So they're like 2 hours into the game. So I'm going to check on it and see how it's going.
Well,
Wow.
Taylor, I love you. No offense. Go Phillies.
I mean, yeah, I figured, I don't know if it has anything to do with Nia being in your household. I actually wanted to ask Nia, like,
No. I mean,
your family.
Nia is actually a Cubs fan because she grew up in Pittsburgh and the Pirates have sucked her whole
Oh.
life. And then she moved to Chicago and she was like, boom, done. This is my
Yeah.
team. And then they won the World Series that year. So really worked out for her.
Wow.
It's purely on my end, like about the cheating. Get the Astros out of here.
And you know what? They didn't need to. That's what's
I
so
know.
upsetting.
That is what's
They
so upsetting.
didn't
They are a
need
great
to.
team. They are a great team. Okay, that's enough. That's enough baseball talk. As always, go Giants. Giants are the best franchises ever existed, and arguably more important, Dodgers suck. Okay, Val,
That
if
is
you
true.
could throw this into the chat right now.
Oh,
The next Cam and Trent's family reunion, the previously discussed Cam, Hurt, and I, host a show once a month here in lovely Los Angeles, California. If you're around on Friday, November 30th at 7 p.m., we'll be back at the Yard Theater. Also, I don't know if I've talked about this on the podcast, but the show is a part of a thing called the Chilax Collective, which is a bunch of Chicago improvisers who moved from Chicago to LA, hence the name Chilax. And every Wednesday at 7 p.m. at the Yard Theater, you can go see a show produced by Chicago improvisers. It's really fun, and I feel like we're gaining a lot of momentum. And the show that Cam and I just had was really great too, and it's been really fun. It's been really fun to like find our footing out here in LA. So if you're in LA, on the 30th specifically, come check that out, or any other Wednesday at 7 p.m. at the Yard, or visit the Yard Theater in general. They have great shows there all the time. Also, Val, I don't have a ticket link for this, so don't worry about it, but hopefully I'll have one, or there definitely is one. I gotta find it. If you're listening to this on a podcast, it's in there. But November 18th, Friday, November 18th, I'm going to be in Portland, Maine, and I will be doing a show called Comedy Town with former guest of the podcast, John Randall. Comedy Town was a show that him and I hosted in Chicago for about a year and a half before the pandemic shut us down. But we've done those in LA and Valparaiso, Indiana as well. And at Made Up Theater in Fremont, California. So we've taken it all around. I'm going to be in New York for a week. And the end of that trip, we're going to drive up to Maine and do a show. So if you're in Portland, Maine, I think the theater's called One Fellowship Theater, something like that.
To rule them all.
Yeah, One Fellowship to rule them all. If you're in Maine, I think hopefully some of those words made sense to you. And the ticket link I'll put in the show notes of the podcast. But go check those out if you're around and looking for some fun stuff. It's all fun people everywhere. I only try to associate my people with people, or try to associate myself with people who I think are both good people and good performers. So hopefully I'm only recommending high quality stuff. Okay, we got to get out of here. It's the top of the hour and I'm rambling on. So it's time to end the show. Taylor, thank you as always, or Val, thank you as always. Taylor, thank you for specifically this, but also thank you in general. I love knowing both of you. Both of you are lights in my life. Thanks everybody for watching live, if that's how you did it, or thanks for listening on a podcast if that's how you did it. We will be back in 1 month, first Wednesday of December, with a brand new guest for our final episode of the year. Sad, but it will also be very fun. Okay, I'm rambling. That's enough. Hope to see you in LA or Portland or Chicago or wherever you may be. This was I Love Improv with Trent Dozier. I'm Trent Dozier, and you gotta remember, baby, I love improv.